Any mention for unlisted matter? Any mention for unlisted matter? From supplementary list, item number 1.
Passed the order yesterday. Huh? Oh. Yes, who's appearing?
Mr. Ahmadi is also there.
No. This is.
From supplementary list,
Petition.
item number 1.
Who's for the petitioner, Mr. Modika?
Miss Havelia from Guwahati.
If the petitioner is not. Are you appearing? Yes, madam. Yes, madam. Yes.
Lordship, in this case, what has happened? This is a case relating to Lordship. Lordship, I am. Is your Lordship able to see me?
No, but we can hear you. In due course, we'll also get to see you.
Yes, your Lordship. Lordship, in this case, what has happened? We have challenged an order of adjudication passed by the authority, which is a time-barred Lordship order. Lordship, what happens? Lordship, if your Lordship may kindly come to section Lordship 20, page 20 of my petition, wherein I have quoted section 73.
Have you served everybody?
Yes, your Lordship. Lordship, the CGST department is appearing in this case. So, Lordship, Mr. N. Mojika is appearing on behalf of all the.
You are appearing for all the respondents? They are CGST authorities.
All.
Yes, madam. Page 20. Page 20.
Funded, the central excise officer may within 30 months. Lordship, the time period is prescribed is 30 months. From the relevant date, serve a notice. So the time period is for serving a notice before passing an adjudication order. There is no limit for passing an adjudication order. Only that 1 year from the SOCOS notice that can be passed. But so, Lordship, in this case, the SOCOS notice which was issued to me was barred by limitation because it was issued to me after 30 months. Lordship, thereafter, Lordship, this 30 months can be.
Madam, show us the notice, please. Where is the notice?
The Lordship, the notice, Lordship, Lordship will find it annexure 4, page 54.
Page 54.
54. Yes, your Lordship. Annexure 4. Lordship, the date is 24/10/2019 And this is for the period 2014-15.
Yes, madam. If you come to
Yes, Your Lordship.
the proviso to subsection 1, you'll find
Yes, Your
that
Lordship. There is a extension.
fraud,
Extension
collusion,
of,
willful
limitation.
misstatement, and in the show cause notice of evasion. So once there is
But if there is an
allegation of
allegation-
evasion, then
Yes, Your
the
Lordship.
period of limitation will be 5 years and not 30 months. But it's an
That is-
arguable
that
case.
is-
It's
yes,
an
Your Lordship.
arguable case. We'll call for affidavits.
Yes, Your Lordship.
Since the petitioners assert that a show cause notice dated October
23rd.
24, 2019 apparently issued under section 73 of the Finance Act 1994 pertain to a period more than 30 months prior to the issuance of the notice, and as such, was barred by limitation in terms of the relevant provision. Full stop. Paragraph. However, the proviso to section 73 bracket 1 of the Act mandates that when any service tax has not been paid or levied, or has been short levied or short paid or erroneously refunded by reason of fraud or collusion or willful misstatement or suppression of facts or in contravention of any of the provisions of the relevant chapter of the Act or the rules made thereunder, the period within which the notice has to be issued would stand enlarged to 5 years instead of 30 months. Paragraph. Prima facie, there appears to be an allegation of evasion of service tax in the impugned notice of October 24, 2019. Full stop. However, it has to be ascertained whether there is any serious allegation of fraud, collusion, or willful misstatement or suppression or contravention, or any case in such regard has been made out. Full stop. Paragraph. Accordingly, affidavits are called for. Full stop. Affidavits in opposition be filed within 3 weeks from date. Semicolon. Reply thereto, if any, may be filed within a fortnight thereafter. The matter will appear 6 weeks hence. In the meantime, paragraph, in the meantime, if any payment is made in terms of any demand, the same will be kept in a suspense account and not appropriated till the disposal of the petition.
Much obliged, Your Lordship.
Item number 2.
May it please, Your Lordship.
You have yesterday's order. The one that I said, Councillor. That same order in all the 5 matters.
Lordship, please.
Record the presence as of yesterday. Please indicate the appearance. So, of the same appearance as yesterday, same order in all 5 matters. And what was the
I'm
date?
extremely- First of May.
1st of May. Thank you.
I'm extremely grateful. I'm extremely.
Item number 3.
Item number 3, we'll take it up at the end of the board. Mr. Bhattacharya, we'll take it up at the end of the board.
From the meanness, item number 1.
to look into the.
Lordship, item number 1 is concerned. We crave the leave of the court for some adjustment.
Sorry?
We crave the leave of the court, Your Lordship. The state is craving the leave of the court for some time because the issue of expansion and all other correlated issues are.
I think we will wash our hands off because, we don't want to impose.
In Your Lordship, this court has been
That's
very
not
lenient.
our brief. We don't
Court has
want
been
to
very lenient,
impose.
Your Lordship.
But we perceive, it could be a wrong perception, that if you had a developed airport where full-bodied aircraft could land and take off, then it would be a boost to the economy.
Absolutely, Lordship.
Number one, you would get in more tourists. Number two, and number three, the area around would also develop because with greater footfall, a lot of ancillary industries and services
Absolutely.
tend to come up.
Absolutely.
But then to decide that, we have to yield to both the union and the state, what their perceptions are. We of course have our reasons to believe that extraneous considerations may be are being taken into account by both the union and the state. But it's a matter of policy where even if extraneous considerations are being taken, unless they are completely arbitrary, it's not for our,
We bow down, Your Lordship.
it's
Absolutely.
not for us to interfere. We feel sad that, because of personal interests, you do not want the state to develop, but it's your state, you are governing it, it's your choice. But we seriously feel that if there is no airport of, you could tomorrow start international flights.
Absolutely.
You could start flights to Bangladesh, you could start flights to
Myanmar.
and Thailand. Thailand always has a heavy crowd from here.
Football tourists from Northeast. Absolutely.
Has a heavy crowd from
Heavy
here.
crowd.
There are many airports which have been developed over the last 5 or 10 years at smaller places. This is a state capital and you have probably land available, you have even expanding. There was a recent statement made by your Chief Minister that even expansion is possible, and with a bit of cooperation between the local authority and
absolutely.
airports authority, you can manage without felling the mountain. On one side, you can still manage wide-bodied aircrafts taking off and landing. After all, if you know what is Paro,
Absolutely. Lordship.
this is much better than
Much
Paro.
better than Paro.
If you know what is Ladakh, this is much better than Ladakh. Indeed, even Port Blair. Port Blair has space elsewhere, but the airport at Port Blair, the runway, and wide-bodied aircrafts operate there. There are 20 flights in and out, more than 20 flights now in and out of Port Blair. So it's for you to...
Lordship, lot of things, logistics are unfolding, Lordship, and plans have been executed. So we need some more time.
You take time, but...
Absolutely, Lordship. This is a checkered, even this issue, before this Honorable Court, has had a checkered history from 2015 onwards. So things have really moved forward, but as Lordship rightly said, there are issues, sometimes it takes time, sometimes the local factors
We
are there.
appreciate that putting up a greenfields project of an airport is going to be hugely expensive.
Absolutely.
It's going to be hugely expensive. But we have reason to believe that the current airport has the potential
Absolutely, Lordship.
to receive wide-bodied aircraft with much less. But someone has to apply the mind and not, because of extraneous considerations, rule it out.
Lordship, the Union of India.
We are not experts.
No, absolutely, Lordship. Union of India, they have got expert bodies to.
You are also not experts.
You're not experts. So far, we are concerned with the land.
Experts
Absolutely, Lordship.
take other considerations into account
Absolutely.
to arrive at a conclusion, then we are completely at a loss.
Lordship, so far state is concerned, our basic thrust would be the land and the adjoining area and getting all the red tapeism minimized so that things worked out. The other technical issue, the expertise.
No, they have filed reports. They have indicated in affidavit that the current airport is not good enough because for the construction of the runway, the mountain has to be felled and the cost involved is prohibitive.
Very difficult.
Everything has a cost-benefit analysis.
Absolutely, Lordship.
My lord, this aspect was examined, my lord, by several teams of Airports Authority, my lord. My lord, as I submitted earlier also, there is a flight path, my lord, and there must not be any obstruction in the flight path. And there is a sort of canopy, kind of imaginary canopy, my lord. If something comes in between that, DGC will not give permission for that.
What about the other land that you saw?
My lord, that is also, the runway itself is an inclination of 180 meters, my lord. So that means to level that, there has to be chopping or cutting to the extent of 180 meters, my lord. And that also 2.5 kilometers runway, my lord.
There's an airport, my lord, in the Mizoram, Longlai Airport. And while doing this case, I had an occasion to talk to a very young engineer who was also a part of that project. He says that the entire Longlai Airport, it was valley, streams, they fill up and in record time. And today Boeing is operational there, Longlai Airport in Mizoram.
That's where, that's away from Aizawl.
Away from Aizawl, not very far from Aizawl. And that is one of the, they say it's a risky airport, but nevertheless, my lord, it is functional.
No, we must, security, safety is the,
Yes.
Safety cannot be compromised.
Absolutely.
There can be no compromise on safety. If there are standards and norms which require 2.5 kilometers, it has to be 2.5 kilometers.
But one feature which distinguishes Umroi, my lord, with Paro, and because Paro, Umroi is a cloudy area, my lord. Monsoon season there is a heavy cloud, so the visibility comes down very season. That is not the case with Paro and Ladakh, my lord. They are beyond the mountain range, so the cloud cover or foggy situation.
Umroi is kind of a valley. It's surrounded by, so therefore the cloud descends very quickly.
And Your Lordship, a decade back,
So much so that even the Honorable Home Minister's flight could not land on the other day.
and Your Lordship, there's a
No,
kind.
that's because of safety concerns.
Safety concerns.
And there are, during monsoon, there are several times that flights don't land over here, go directly to Guwahati. It's not as if those difficulties are not there. But somehow, if there's, I think runway 44,
Well,
and I think the other one is 22 or something like that.
04 and 21, my lord. Runway 04 and runway 21.
04 and 21. So one of them at an angular level, it is possible. It's a question of willingness. It's not as if it's not possible. It may be possible, but again, we have to accept your, wisdom over there.
And Your Lordship, the technical experts become very important so far Umroi is concerned, Your Lordship, for the one reason, we had a precedent where almost the same route where helicopter had crashed, not far away. So the heightened concern for the state is that, and almost everybody died, and very important people were traveling. So completely and the day was 22nd and September. Just immediately after the monsoon, there was a heavy cloud, and so that concern has almost shocked everybody as to.
Now you have instrumental landing system. Now you have a lot of, and even the helicopters that operate over here are not the power nuns. I think they are the Eurocopters or whatever.
Absolutely.
Which function over here.
Now, Your Lordship, technology is advanced. Even AI has come to the picture.
Advanced technology, but
Most things are done by AI.
we cannot go into an area where we don't know.
We don't know. Absolutely, Lordship.
Number one,
Absolutely.
and then safety concerns are issues are compromised. So the one other thing could be that's again your willingness and whether you explore that.
Absolutely.
Is Dihor's AI, if you get technical experts
Absolutely.
to advise you whether Umroi can be made feasible. Because another thing about clouds and fog, Dr. Mozika, is the verdant kind of surroundings.
Right.
Now, if you see along the highway, there's a lot of construction going on. And a lot of the trees have been felled so that, it's become much more open than it used to be, let's say, even 2 years back.
Yes.
I can tell you even in the last 18 months, along the highway on both sides, you turn off from the highway at Umroy, along the highway on both sides, there's been a lot of activity and you see a lot more, construction work or preparatory work, leveling work, preparatory for construction. So those reduce the kind of fog or clouds that you have. But again, it's for you, both of you to...
No, Lordship, will comply with whatever the technical expertise give us opinion and how land has to be adjusted, as Lordship rightly said, the cost analysis.
Yes.
And Lordship will kindly appreciate one other part of the business model part of it. Most of the flights will be hopping or transit. The volume would be a very important consideration.
Yes,
and this
all of those
so many parameters, Lordship.
All of those have to be taken into consideration. For instance,
Because once we get the
can't
technical
expect that the amount that is invested will be recovered in a year.
Absolutely, Lordship.
You have to see whether over 10 years, if you see over 50 years also, you cannot recover it.
Absolutely.
You have to project the footfall.
Absolutely, Lordship.
And that's how you will see. But
So the technical part of clearance, Lordship, mandatory, because most of these flights will not operate if they find we have compromised in the technicalities. So there are so many parameters, Lordship, we are walking into it and we'll comply with whatever.
But once infrastructure is there, flights is there, in a due course of time, they start, my lord. This is what we will see.
Demand supply, Lordship.
sorry, yes.
Demand supply principle. Once the airport comes in, the principle of demand supply, Lordship. Like just recently we had, Lordship is aware, just recently we had a very important function of All India Judges function. Like maybe 6 months back, they would have given a second thought. But the moment Vivanta came in, and everybody was thinking, what is going to happen to Vivanta? Where is the tourist? Where is the business model?
Now you also have Marriott,
Even
though it's courtyard, but still Marriott.
So the supply was in place, the infrastructure was in place. Anybody in Delhi, Jaipur, Bombay, and we have got a lovely airport in Calcutta at least. The hub which connects Northeast beautifully. 10-15 flights a day, hopping direct. So all these things will be in place, Lordship. So we were not going into this, but
in fact, even beyond going beyond the cost benefit, we have committed, my lord, that we will, if land is available, we are ready for a greenfield airport, my lord.
And the expenses are borne by whom? The expenses
The
are
airport authority.
Airport.
Except the land has to be provided by the state government, my lord, free of cost. Airport infrastructure will be developed by airports authority.
so.
Lordship, this will be, meeting is going on, Lordship. We are honestly serious about it.
But on last occasion, we proposed that you please identify 3 to 4 sites. We'll carry out a feasibility study. They provided only one.
We'll put across, Lordship. If that is the case, then definitely we'll put across.
That is the one that we knew that you had only provided one.
Absolutely. We'll
See
get
any
back.
alternative, go a bit down. Homestaying, maybe even up to Nongpo. Because Nongpo is about 24 kilometers from Umiam.
And the roads are good.
Yes,
Myran,
as my lord says, you can
Myran
consider
side also is, I think.
Myran side.
Yes.
Myran side, you get a lot of flat land, next to the river.
And
What is the Kinsa River?
Kinchi River. And Lordship, I was told that the National Highway Authority, they have got the clearance for that bypass.
Yes.
So that will start very soon, and there is no cutting of the road, trees and all, no human habitation. They just have to use JCB and build up a road. The roads are coming up with Khasias even. So
Mr. Khan, if some of you, you're in a position of authority, Dr. Mozika is also there. If some of you take a personal interest and pursue it, it doesn't look good if the court does it.
Absolutely.
Because
we fully agree.
We don't have anything to win or lose over here.
My lord, last time what happened, my lord, and I've seen in this a long times, my lord, state is inviting offers from landowners, my lord. A notice issued that government requires land for...
Because the state does not own land.
Absolutely, and that is the procedure.
My lord, how the state should go about is go and survey the areas which are feasible. They can acquire it, my lord. Why they are so
But we are not the owner, Lordship. There is slightly
So
complaint.
you can do
overconscious
that,
about
you
that.
can acquire it
They
also.
don't want to acquire any land, my lord, because this will disturb people. The political and other considerations for that.
That is not the case, Lordship. It's kind of a catch-22 situation.
Land, they have to identify the land. This land is suitable and acquire it. Asking for invitation to bids, who wants to offer their land for,
Lordship, if I may
and
just-
this is like giving encouragement to dalals.
Lordship,
The focus
if I may just clarify that, Lordship is aware there is an emergency clause in the Land Acquisition Act. So it's a catch-22 situation. We acquire and then we get subsequently get a report. After acquisition, this is not feasible.
After acquisition,
Supposing we invoke the emergency clause and we acquire, and after acquiring, and then the report comes in. So it would be in the fitness of
Feasibility will be done before that.
feasibility. Lordship, that can happen in feasibility
you
and acquisition.
identify,
Absolutely.
you identify 2 or 3 pockets.
Lordship, if that can be done by Airport Authority of India, we can
You identify 2 or 3 pockets.
Absolutely.
Again, in consultation with maybe the director of the airport who's here.
Absolutely.
The AI, the current director or personnel who are there at the airport itself.
No,
What
Lordship-
we have to do is go 40-50 kilometers out, within a radius of 40-50 kilometers, identify 2 or 3.
Absolutely.
Don't acquire them.
Exactly.
Then
Exactly.
ask AI to
to-
conduct a pre-feasibility.
Absolutely.
Out of that, AI may say these 2 are absolutely ruled out. There's a possibility over here. Once that comes, then you get to be more serious.
Also, we can assure the court will take up this.
But
Will very seriously.
what we
Will-
see
at
is
least this
that
part of it will take up.
Invitation to bid, my lord, for airport land is something unheard of, my lord.
sorry.
Invitation to bid. Landowners, please come forward and offer your land.
That is,
That's not good.
maybe he's correct, Lordship is correct. But then we can sit across the table and work out how do we go about. Once we get clearance for that and we can show interest, Lordship. If they identify 1 to 3 pockets, then we can work it out.
The matter pertains to augmenting the facilities at the existing airport at Umroi. Full stop. As of now, ATRs and bombardiers and like aircraft are able to land at the existing facility, and the length of the runway and the surrounding environment does not make it feasible for wide-bodied aircraft to call at Umroi. Full stop. Paragraph. The nearest airport outside of the state which services the entire state, so to say, is at Guwahati. Full stop. The distance of about 120 kilometers between the Loknath Lokopriyo Gopinath Bordolai Airport at Guwahati and Shillong takes more than 3 hours to cover. Full stop. The distance from Umroi to Shillong takes about half an hour. Full stop. Paragraph. Given that Meghalaya is a hilly state, but it has also large tracts of plains, the closest place to Shillong that can have a bigger airport appears, possibly to be in Riboy district or in the West Khasi Hills. Full stop. Paragraph. Upon previous preliminary and somewhat firm reports of the Airports Authority of India indicating that Umroi may not be the ideal location for expansion of the airport to receive bigger aircraft, since the runway and the flight path have to be extended by felling hills at high cost and the clouds and fog that engulf the airport and its surroundings, particularly in monsoon, this court suggested to the state to explore whether land was available for a greenfields airport project to be started. Full stop. Paragraph. The AAI says that it is the responsibility of a state desirous of having an airport at any location to provide the land to AAI and the entire cost of building the airport and all the facilities connected therewith is taken over by AAI. Full stop. Paragraph. In this state, since very little land is owned by the state government and most of the land belongs to the tribes which inhabit the state, an effort was made by the state towards the middle and end of the previous year to invite offers from landowners for the new airport, for selling land for the proposed new airport. Full stop. Pursuant to advertisements issued, only one major offer came, and the feasibility study conducted by AAI indicated that the costs would be too high to level the land for the construction of a highway, since the difference in height from the lowest point in the relevant land to the highest was about 180 meters. Full stop. Paragraph. AAI suggests that instead of the state seeking offers from landowners to sell their land for the project, the state and the AAI could jointly identify certain pockets where it may be feasible to put up a new airport to receive wide-bodied aircraft, full stop. Feasibility studies could be conducted at 2 or 3 places to identify 1 or 2 of the proposed sites for the state to thereafter acquire the requisite land and make it over to AAI. Full stop. Paragraph. It appears to this court that in the development trajectory that Meghalaya seems to have embarked on, a better serviced airport is an absolute necessary for the further development of the state, including as a tourist hub. Full stop. However, at the end of the day, it is for the state government to decide, and if both the state and the union are reluctant to set up a new airport, it is not a matter that the court can interfere with or impose its will. Full stop. This is because any new project would require a cost-benefit analysis to be made, and however strong the perception may be that a new airport may give a fillip to the state or its development, the numbers have to be worked out on paper, and the court obviously lacks the expertise in such regard. Full stop. Paragraph. What remains the court's concern, however, is that only relevant considerations should be taken into account in preparing a cost-benefit analysis for setting up of a new airport. Closer to Shillong than the Guwahati airport. Full stop. The decision in such regard should not be tinged with other considerations as to the benefits or prejudice any private operator handling any nearby airport may suffer as a consequence. Since the state says that it is eager to have its own airport with adequate facility, the state, in consultation with AAI or even the officials stationed at the Umrah airport, should make an attempt to identify a few pockets of land and, thereupon, AAI may be invited to give a preliminary opinion as to whether any of such pockets would be feasible for a Greenfields airport project, full stop, it is only upon the preliminary satisfaction that one of the several pockets identified would be feasible that the acquisition activity may be undertaken by the state. Full stop. Paragraph again, comma, it may be a matter of policy which the state has to consider and the court has to yield to the state in such regard. Full stop. The court will only remind the state to take relevant considerations into account and eschew considering private interests in the decision-making process. Full stop. As paragraph as requested by the state, let the matter appear after some time. Full stop. Give a date 6 weeks hence.
Item 2.
I'm sure if both of you put your heads together,
Absolutely.
you know, we've given enough encouragement
Absolutely.
in the order, and we've been, but these days things are controlled by some private interests.
But what I can say, the very approach of the state government in identifying land was not correct. All lawyers were busy making land agreements at that point of time. I can only say that. Most of the lawyers in Shillong, my lord, were busy making land agreements between parties, my lord, in the hope that their land will be acquired.
Yes.
Item 2.
It's item number 2, your lordships have directed an affidavit.
117 or 109? What was the plan? To fell how many trees?
103 minutes.
And how is it coming up? Are you going to disturb the road while doing that? Because if you're going to disturb the road, it's going to be mayhem.
They're planning a...
Now, if over there you narrow the passage and start constructing a flyover by, taking up half the width of the road, then it's going to be absolutely, unless you have alternate routes prepared before that.
But it appears that they'll make some arrangement, maybe temporarily they'll use the spaces in the surrounding area, my lord.
There are several ways of skinning a cat, as you know. One can be that you have a middle column, a structure built, like a reverse U,
My lord.
and the carriageway going on top of that.
Like in metro stations, most of the parts.
Like in metro stations, not the rest of the metro railway.
Metro
But at
stations.
metro stations
the
to
metro stations.
receive the wider. Over here, I don't know, again, we are not experts, but all that we are imagining is, let us say from that, what is it, not Ajanta, what is that point
Anjali
called?
Point.
Anjali.
Point.
From Anjali, say, command hospital down, you go all the way to that
Jhalupada.
Now that is already narrow because you have the army on one side and you have some kind of... Now over there, if you are going to dig up the middle of the road, there is hardly space for single cars to pass on either side. Because to put up a column which may be of diameter of, let us say, 300 centimeter, just for... You need at least 50 centimeters more on both sides to kind of make the plinth and the support foundation.
But I can come back with instructions on what are the plans, my lord, how they propose to deal with the traffic at the construction time.
Yes,
that is one
we must not go into,
my lord.
we want to fly over, and then in the construction of the flyover make it so difficult that it does not come about. Everything has to have a...
I'm sure, but they must be having some plan, my lord. They are doing that in Guwahati also, my lord. So I can come back with that.
Why are they doing that in Guwahati? Why not here in Shillong?
Guwahati is already bad, Millards. Anybody who has traversed on the bypass to Guwahati now is witness to, Millards, how long
Yes,
it takes.
but Guwahati is in tremendous development. And if you see, the Malegaon flyover is almost ready.
Almost complete.
Almost ready. There's another alternative bridge which is probably coming up over there.
Yes.
They already have a zip line.
They are also extending it towards the other bank of the Brahmaputra.
And there's a flyover which will probably go up to Majuli.
Yes, Millards.
They're planning a road link to Majuli.
Yes, my lord.
Assam and particularly Guwahati, I've been coming here from when 1996 as a lawyer.
Yeah.
The remarkable development that I have seen over there
It's
is,
been a turnaround over the last decade or so, Millards. We must.
it used to be kind of a small town.
Millards.
There was only Fancy Bazaar and
Paltan Bazaar, Millards.
Polton Bazaar and nothing else.
It was
Ujan Bazaar was, kind of,
20 years back, 30 years back, Siliguri and Guwahati were compared, my lord.
yes.
They're equal size or importance.
And you can see, Guwahati was comparable to Siliguri
Yes, well.
then. Today look at Guwahati and today look at Siliguri. The two of you can't, mention them in the same breath.
The Guwahati is gone in leaps and bounds.
And it happens because there has to be money, there has to be employment, there has to be commerce.
Political will also, my lord. That's executive will. My lord, as far as this present matter, my lord, it appears, my lord, from the instruction.
Political, there are many. Will,
My-
skill, kill.
My friend is holding the brief for the government, Millards. So, but naturally.
Not for Assam government. My lord,
No, but at the end of the day, you must think of, where are children in Meghalaya, what will they do?
Millards, absolutely.
What will they do? Where will they go? If you are going to, stress on education and then build more education institutions, subsidize their education, and then because of lack of employment opportunities, they go out, all that investment goes down the drain.
Goes down the drain. Millards.
And you must understand there is an affinity not to go, because if you stay here, it's tax-free.
It is, Millards. The younger generation, Millards, has now started venturing out, and most of the local boys and girls who now well educated, Millards, they also go and receive education outside the state.
We were
Practicing there.
told in another matter pertaining to roads, I think Mr. Shengupta was appearing in that matter, that this stretch is going to be in 3 packages.
the present one, my lord, the 7 Dauki.
It is going to be in 3 packages.
It is in 5 packages.
5 packs.
5 packages. And we were also told that the work on this flyover part of the thing was awarded, but since it involved extra work, the contractor ran away. And it has
My
to
lord,
be
package
retendered.
1 as well as package 5, we are facing difficulties, my lord. The contractors have abandoned the work. We have retendered, my lord, in the month of January. For package 1, which is Shillong part, my lord, only one there was sole bidder, my lord. Package 5, there was no bidder.
Package 5 is where?
Dauki, my lord.
Dauki, Millards.
Because that part is difficult.
So
that part is
there are
difficult.
no bidders for that, my lord, in the first round.
Between here and if you're going to Shora, you see a lot of construction going on now, even in the upper Shillong area and beyond Milliam.
Yes.
There's a lot of construction going on. And
So, my lord,
you can envisage, that it coming up.
my lord, out of 5 packages, package 3, which is the peninsula stretch, my lord, even the alignment has not been finalized in now by the government because of local issues, my lord. So package 3 is work has not even been tendered now, my lord. Only package 2 and package 4 construction is going on, my lord. 1 and 5 are again abandoned, and we have retendered. Package 1, as I submitted, my lord, only there was sole bidder, my lord, so we have to retender it. Package 5, there was no bidder at all, so we are retendering it once again, my lord. Primarily because of non-handing over encumbrance-free land by the state government, my lord. My lord, in fact, I've annexed a letter, my lord, if your lordship kindly comes to my affidavit, which I filed yesterday.
Yes, you're appearing, Mr. Khan.
page 6 of the affidavit.
Yes, 25th March?
Yes, my lord. This will show, my lord, package 1, Shillong Dauki. Out of 11.6 kilometer, only 4.4.
Package 1 is this one?
This one, my lord. Because of the pipelines of PHCT is still in place, my lord. Electricity lines are still in place. They are not been removed by the state. And there are some certain other. Package 3, again, same issues, my lord. Package 3, in fact, has not even started, so that is not mentioned, my lord, here. Package 4 and package 5 is mentioned again.
4 has started.
Package 3 is not mentioned here because 4 work is going on, my lord.
So, Mr. Khan, what is the state government doing?
My lord, what is happening because of this cost escalation, number 1, my lord? Because of this difficulty, there is a cost escalation. Contractors are running away, my lord. And if I may submit, there are too many NGOs, my lord. I know it for a fact that they come and disturb the contractors, my lord, every now and then. State has to deal with this kind of, they have to provide.
It's a menace.
It is a menace, my lord.
It's in common knowledge, but unfortunately not dealt with.
There has to be, as they say, a bit of political will too. And in some areas, we have given you the shoulder to shoot from. But this is somewhere that, this is absolutely essential. And once this is eased, a bit of the congestion all around will be eased, because you just have to see the line now. Getting into Shillong, the queuing starts from Maoyong.
Absolutely.
Which is probably 5 kilometers down.
And coming from Sora, my lord, it is right up to Milliam, even crosses Milliam.
Beyond Milliam.
Beyond Milliam, and then you come to the crossing where the Elephant Falls is, there you get a bit of ease. And after that, there's work going on now. In fact, there's single file traffic movement.
Your Lordship will definitely look into this and address the issues very seriously. Your Lordship, if I may just submit, not for the moment I'm submitting that state should not take up this matter seriously, but just to bring a reference point, Your Lordship, when this GS Road 4-way lane was made a few years back in 2011, a very interesting thing had happened. The entire stretch, Lordship, if you see the bypass, Romsning bypass, that was never made even for more than 1.5 years, in spite of the fact the whole road was completed. The matter was so acute and so serious for or against that it had to be long drawn process before finally the National Highway Authority abandoned the main road. And after that, land was acquired and then the bypass made. So the entire stretch GS road was completed, but this stretch took more than 1.5 years. Not for a moment I'm saying, Lordship, that we have the same situation here. But what I'm submitting in this, Lordship, there are issues where it needs to be handled. Not that we can get the entire stretch done in one day.
You see, this is not a big state like, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu. You people over here, you are part of the intelligentsia over here. You are part of the leaders. So if you take a bit of a leadership role,
Yeah, absolutely, Lordship.
and see, sometimes there are other considerations. I'm not talking of the corruption part of it.
No, Lordship,
There are other considerations which come into play. If I'm a politician, I have to kind of satisfy various constituencies.
Absolutely.
Some constituency may be the land loser, so I cannot just ride roughshod over
Absolutely,
them.
Lord.
Whereas you people, if you kind of come into a bit of prominence and see what is appropriate or not, mediate.
For example, Lordship, like if you can get on board the local Darbar Shillongs, the local NGOs even. See, ultimately, Lordship, if we have to convert this, they resist the Lordship only for the simple reason their livelihood, whom they represent, gets affected. But if Darbar Shillong, NGOs and KHTC come on board, and if we can sit across the table and convince them, then maybe you're losing something, but in long run, tourism is getting a boost, and we give them local employment.
I think my learned friend will vouch me out. Losing land in Meghalaya is at least for these projects is not really a concern, as is in some other parts of the country.
So, Lordship, we need to set a first table to get
it is just a
renewal on
question
board.
of will and proceeding with it, my lords, because here there is not much resistance. Of course, there is resistance
What
to
is the
defense
total
projects.
population of the state?
26 lakhs.
27 lakh, no, 30 something.
Something between 27.
And the total area is 20,000 square kilometers, is it?
No,
Somewhere around there.
I think around 22,000 square kilometers, that's fine. Which makes it one of the less dense areas.
So, Lordship, what I was submitting with the board and the NGOs are taken on board and saying that the issue of livelihood.
Let's not get into NGOs. There are some which are good,
Some are
there are
bad.
some which are
Different.
Mostly, my lords, cottage industries.
It's not livelihood, it's a
Yes,
cottage industry, my lord.
mostly are
Come
cottage
ask for money,
industries.
man.
and they make a lot of money, get foreign aid by saying something and doing something else on the ground.
These are, my lords, so-called NGOs, if I may put it.
Yes, yes, there are several of those. People make a livelihood out of running those.
My lords.
Because there's also extortion money to rely on.
Absolutely, my lords. Which is why mostly contractors run away. And here, loss of land, my lords, otherwise for development projects is usually not a bar. People usually come forward. They come forward or even offer the land. My lords, if it is for a road, the people come forward and say that, yes, a road is coming up. We don't
Mostly
really
it's
mind.
not agricultural land, my lord. So whatever we see on the roadside or whatever is
It
required.
is not that. In other parts of the country, my lords, there's always a concern that I'm going to lose my livelihood if this land is gone. That, in my respectful submission, is not the case in Meghalaya.
Lordship, Umrai bypass took 30 years. Only
30?
30 years. The Umrai bypass, Lordship, from connecting Umrai to Morankanning. 30 years it took only for acquisition and finally it came out. So what Lordship was submitting
And
is
we
there
have to take
are
many
issues.
steps. For instance, the other one, since you're here and you're appearing for Highways Authority, in the other matter, we put a question where Mr. Sengupta was, I think, also appearing for the Highways Authority, that if the bypass from
So where the new one?
Thadlaisen
Thalaskin, my lords. Thalaskin.
to Clarion, to that place is called Min to do.
Meant to do.
Mean to do. You know, if that stretch, which is part of the highway, but the state maintains it. Why should that be? Because the highway goes through Jawai and comes out. But now that the bypass is there, all the Barak Valley bound or Silchar, Agartala bound traffic, they don't go into Jawai, they take that.
But as far as I understand, the state maintains in the way, my lord. The state PWD has a national highway wing or branch or division. my lord.
Yes, we understand.
So what happens, whichever are the toll roads, my lord, the national highway itself maintains those roads. But these roads, national highway constructs it and the maintenance part is handed over and the money is reimbursed to them by the national highway, my lord. I can get full details on that, my lord.
Just look into that because it's a huge, only that stretch, which is about 8 kilometers or
8
so.
kilometers or so.
8 kilometers or so. Otherwise, even the not the highway, the road, from Shillong to the Shillong Jawai thing, before it meets at that, the highway comes at the place with M. Highway meets the road.
Mukla.
Yes. Morning.
Morankine.
There's the Umrai bypass, Lordship.
Yes. Now, even the road from Shillong to that point is now excellent.
Yes.
But that those 8 kilometers create a.
Lordship, that 8 kilometer what happened, the lowest contractor, he refused to do at that rate. He said, I need a higher excavation. Therefore, they didn't do. That was
There was a
information I
meeting
got.
also, my lord, but because the tender was already
Issued.
so there being the position, the government is
There's some PN pending. It has always been with the intervention of the court that roads are completed in Meghalaya, including the road that my learned friend was talking about, the Umsning bypass. So the entire stretch was in such a deplorable state. It would essentially take about 40 to anything between 40 minutes to 1 hour to cross that portion. It was only with the intervention of this honorable court, Malats, that finally that road got done.
That's part of our job to ensure that that's part of our job. We really don't want to take any credit for that. So, where do we stand as far as this is concerned? Because
As far as tender part, my lord, we are in the process of re-tendering package 1 and package 5. And that depends on how many bidders come, whether we get sufficient number of bidders or not.
Well, it's
But-
one of the fears.
But
that
one of the reason for contractors are not coming forward is, my lord, because everything spreads in the market, my lord. The contractors know that working in Meghalaya is very difficult. And that's the reason they are not coming to Meghalaya, my lord.
which was one of the
develop
fears.
local people. Develop local people. I go and tell all the contractors involved in the court projects that take local people. But somehow the perception is the local man does not want to work as hard, he is not so productive. And B, after 4 or 5 days, he wants his 2 or 3 days off. Now that can't go on in an ongoing project. And so all these people are brought at much high cost from Assam.
If I may just.
But Arunachal, you'll also, the BROs are doing tremendous job.
That's Border Roads Organization.
Yes, they are doing
Over here, Border Roads Organization in the interior is not required. Border Roads Organization, say Tamabil, they will go.
They were maintaining the stretch from Sonapur till the border of Assam. But of course, now it has been taken over by the
No,
state.
they are international borders. Shela, they will go. Tamabil, they will go. But they will not come to.
They were maintaining Millet still very recently. I think
fact,
about
your lordship,
2 or 3 years now it has
State
been handed
governments
over.
to take care of those disturbing elements who are disturbing the contractors. They can come heavily on that.
Very well. Yes.
So one concern that we had, Millet, as your lordships have already seen, that package 1, nothing is taking off. Well, in the meantime, all the trees are gone. There have been instances, Millet, where the environment is desecrated and then the project is completely shelved. That is one of the concerns that we have.
We'll record that both the state and the thing are committed to the construction of the flyover, which is a given. We will record that they are committed to do that. Though this matter began as virtual emergency proceedings upon the petitioner claiming that a large number of trees were being felled for a project that was still on the drawing board, in larger public interest, the matter has been retained to ascertain the widening of NH40 from Shillong to Dauki a part whereof involves the construction of a flyover from Wilbong to Chalpada. Paragraph.
First sentence.
When the matter was received, it was noticed that some of the trees had already been felled since the matter pertained to the construction of a road or augmenting access and as a consequence lessening the traffic congestion in the state capital, particularly at the point of entry into Shillong, the court did not issue any injunction, but required the actual felling of trees to be delayed till just before the work had to be taken up. Full stop. Paragraph, the petitioner now complains that though nothing has been done for the construction of the flyover between Rilbang Point and Jalupara, several tens of trees have been brought down. Full stop. The petitioner apprehends that, like in several other cases, this may be another instance of trees being felled in the name of an upcoming project, where the project is later stillborn. Full stop. On the construction of the flyover from Rilbang Point to Jalupara, both the state and the National Highways Authority of India submit that they are committed to the same, as that is the only solution to ease the traffic congestion and make it easier to come into Shillong and get out of the city. Full stop. Paragraph. Indeed, the construction of the Rilbang Point to Jalupara flyover is a part of a contract that runs into 5 packages and pertains to the entire road between Shillong and Dauki. Full stop. NHAI reports that work is proceeding on 3 of the packages, but the contractor identified to undertake the first package, which includes the construction of the said flyover, has abandoned the site because of increased cost estimates. Full stop. It is almost a similar situation where no contractor has been identified for package 5. Package 5.
Package 5 also contract was awarded, my lord. Then again, because the land were not available, he abandoned, my lord.
For package 5, after the contractor originally engaged has abandoned.
Same with package 1 also.
Package?
1 also.
1.
Yes. Paragraph. The state would do well to request its representatives to liaise with NHAI to indicate timelines for the further construction, including the construction of the first package, which includes the flyovers and the cost of the final leg into Dauki. Paragraph. some of the appealing parties complained that inquisitive or unhelpful NGOs interfere too much that dissuades a contractor from continuing with the project, full stop. The NHAI says that both the original contractors engaged for package 1 and package 5 have run away, and efforts are on foot and efforts are on to identify fresh contractors in respect of such packages. Paragraph. The state should extend all cooperation to NHAI as, at the end of the day, the benefit goes to the state and primarily the people living here, full stop. Paragraph. There is no doubt that the state and the NHAI representatives will sit across the table to chalk out a plan so that the disruption of traffic is as little as possible during the construction of the flyover and other stretches of the Guwahati-Dauki road. Full stop. Paragraph. NHAI refers to a latest affidavit filed by it on March 28, 2023, wherein it has relied on a letter dated March 25, 2023, addressed to the Deputy Commissioner East Khasi Hills, yes, just repeat what I said, the sentence.
NHAI refers to the latest affidavit filed by it.
Wherein it is. Full stop. It is several of the packages await the road clearance from the state. Full stop. It is possible that vested interests over short tracts of land may be holding the project to ransom, and it is the state's duty, in its own interest, to ensure that larger public cause is benefited by its intervention so that the entire stretch of land can be constructed on without any further impediment. Dr. Bozika, learned DSGI, Mr. Khan, learned additional Advocate General, and Mr. Pal, appearing for the petitioner, all leaders of the bar here, should take a more proactive role and engage with both NHAI and the government, both to keep unnecessarily interfering NGOs at bay and to ensure the smooth and expeditious completion of the project. Full stop. In particular, learned lawyers may offer their services for mediation or conciliation so that the small impediments that remain in land being handed over to NHAI for completing the project are taken care of. Full stop. The completion of the project and the construction of the flyover may be the difference between, maybe a harbinger for enhanced development in the state. Full stop. Paragraph, since the state says it is committed to the speedy completion of the project, the petitioner's apprehension that trees have been felled for no ultimate purpose may not hold water. Full stop. The court remains hopeful that the state machinery will provide as much assistance as needed by NHAI for the smooth and expeditious completion of the project. Full stop. Paragraph, both the state and the NHAI should file a status report when the matter appears next, 6 weeks hence.
But only one aspect, my lord. In a previous order of 16th December 2022, my lord, your losses were directed, may I read, my lord. The state government is directed to ensure that a committee is set up with the chief engineer of PWD roads and a secretary level official for the smooth and quick handing over of the acquired land and the quick resolution of the local issues. Your lordship earlier directed, but it seems that nothing has been done on this, my lord, on 16th of December.
Very well. The NHAI points out that in its order, in the order of December 16, 2022, this court had called upon the state government to constitute a high-level committee to remove the bottlenecks in the handing over of land full stop. If the relevant committee, in terms of such order, has not yet been set up, comma, expeditious steps should be taken so that the committee is set up and that such committee considers the matter in greater detail with both the contractor and state officials. Full stop, list after 6 weeks.
Right.
My lord, in place of
Project is under the NHIDCL, if I am not mistaken.
NHIDCL.
NHIDCL.
Instead of NHI.
Maybe where I've said NHI,
Yes.
say National Highway Infrastructure Development Corporation Limited, comma, which is an extension of NHAI.
But this is only for Northeast, my lord. A special body is been created.
Very good.
Highly obliged.
Item number 3.